International on YouTube, and be sure to subscribe to that page as well. And if you want to call in to tell us what's on your plate today, the number to do so is 452-3046. Again, 452-3046, as well as our WhatsApp number. It is 724-0008. You can call in or message in to that number. Again, it is 724-0008. Now, some birthday greetings for today going out to Mr. Urban Dolor. Happy birthday to you, sir, and we do hope that you're having a splendid birthday celebration. Hope you're enjoying it. Also sending birthday greetings to Soraya John. Happy birthday to you, and wishing you an absolutely fantastic birthday. And also to Mrs. Judy Johannes. Happy birthday to you, and we do hope that you're having a wonderful and blessed birthday celebration. Now, a bit of history for today, and we go back to the year 1532 AD, when the Spanish conquistador Francisco Pizarro conquered the Inca emperor Atahualpa after a surprise ambush which occurred at Cajamarca in the Peruvian Andes. Now, in the year 1776, British troops captured Fort Washington during the American Revolution. 1945 on this day saw the founding of UNESCO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. And 1960 on this day, U.S. Marshals escorted a 6-year-old African-American girls to a previously all-white public school or white public schools in New Orleans, and that was in response to death threats against the girls during race riots. We now move on to our dish of the day. The daily dish is brought to you the kind compliments of our good friends at Tiles Plus.
One tiles for your home, I see. Bathroom, kitchen, pantry. Need tiles for your balcony. Come down to Tiles Plus, satisfaction guarantee. Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus. Big tiles with unbeatable cost. Customer service, A+. This all kind of tiles. Come down to Tiles Plus. We also got gas and vanity. Books, doors, you'll see. Come down to mind nobody. We got the best tiles on island. Trust me. We are located Lance Road in Castries, Bosses Grocery Lane, and Flag Street in Beaufort. Telephone number 453-7939.
Serving now, the Daily Dish.
And welcome back to our program here at Radio Caribbean International. And of course, we mentioned earlier on the birthday or the anniversary of the founding of the organization, a United Nations level, a world level organization for education, science and culture, and that is UNESCO. And of course, they've been around for quite a number of years now, and are still fairly challenged, one would say, in terms of their ability to impact and guard against the degradation of culture, but of course as well the promotion of many other things, including education. And so they deal with a very broad portfolio, sustainable development issues, human rights issues. They deal with, of course, the matter of protection of our cultural heritage, and that in fact includes both natural as well as cultural heritage. And we can think in particular to the World Heritage Sites program that they have been running for a good number of years now. And I believe the most recent count puts it at just about 1,200 sites that have been identified around the world as World Heritage Sites. And that is across 168 countries, and in fact also includes 933 cultural sites, 227 natural sites, and 39 mixed properties. So it is certainly very important in terms of the work that they do. And right here in the Caribbean, we certainly have been looking to raise the awareness of the important heritage that exists in the Caribbean, whether it may be natural or cultural. In the case of St. Lucia, next year will mark 20 years, 2 decades since the establishment of, or the inscription, bringing on into the World Heritage Sites list of the Petors Management Area. And that is a natural site that has been classified based on certain criteria regarding its outstanding natural beauty and the uniqueness of the site. Of course, we have known for a very long time, and I think even from as long as human beings have been traversing these Caribbean waters and have been looking upon these very stoic mountains rising out of the sea, that we've known that they've been very special places, and they were special places for the earliest inhabitants, believed to be even seen by them as potentially divine, and they had spiritual significance for those mountains, and as well the volcanic activity that emanated from that Qualibu caldera, including, of course, the sulfur springs. Lots of research, of course, also being done right now in terms of seeing how that geothermal energy that is below and still is part of that volcanic activity can somehow be harnessed for the good of sustainable energy. And of course, it still is our most iconic landmark. It still is certainly one of the most iconic landmarks in the entire Caribbean. And it is both, it's not just a terrestrial site, it's a terrestrial and a marine space, which combined represents a very, very special and unique place, both above the water line as well as below sea level. And so it is a matter that we certainly do need to look at in terms of our natural heritage conservation and looking at the issues that challenge the conservation of that space. Because we've known from a very long time, since the colonial days, efforts to clear the hills and clear the way for planting of crops was the main desire at the time, of course, for colonizers, whether they wanted to produce coffee or sugar or whatever the case may be. And we can still see some of the remnants of that in places like Anse-Livoine. But even beyond that, of course, now into the modern era, the desire to use that aesthetic value, that inspirational quality of those mountains and that landscape and seascape for real estate. And that has also caused for human changing of the landscape, of course, and wanting to construct buildings, wanting to be able to put in new areas for tourism and for villas and whatever the case may be. And if we look back to the 1980s, at that point, the Organization of American States was trying to support the efforts of turning the area into a national park. And there were, in fact, studies about that and how it could have been done. And unfortunately, that was never achieved. It was never actually declared a national park. And we also then saw of the use of these areas, which were former estates, converting those into areas for real estate, and with more hard surfaces, more walls, and changing that green landscape into a lot of other very other unnatural colors. And that has been a very controversial part of it. Of course, we saw in the first instance the creation of the Hotel Jalousie Resort, and which is, of course, now has become Sugar Beach, which is a very important part of our tourism product, some may say. But the question is, how much more can this site be changed, and where can you develop? How can you develop? How can you be sensitive towards the need to protect that aesthetic value, which was one of the reasons why the site is deemed important in the first instance? And so there was, in fact, a study that had been commissioned called the Limits of Acceptable Change Study, which had been done sometime around 2013, I believe, 2013, 2014, to be able to see the site in its totality and see what parts of the site could, in fact, be developed, and in what way could it be developed? How sustainably could that be achieved? And so it was always deemed a mixed-use site because when the efforts were in play to develop the site as a World Heritage Site, it was recognized that, of course, it was already a mixed-use site. It had lots of areas that could potentially be utilized, and many areas that should be untouched. And so from the very beginning, there was a system of no-build zones as well as mixed-use zones. And the principal no-build zones included the PTORs themselves, the land that takes up the PTORs, as well as the area around the sulfur springs. Those were declared no-build zones. And there were some multi-use zones in between. And so this Limits of Acceptable Change study outlined some of the steps that one had to take to ensure that if a building is going to be put up, the scale of the building had to be capped. It had to be within some reasonable scale so that it doesn't seem too overbearing on the view. The use of materials, the colors that are used, that have to be used, need to be within a certain code. You would want to ensure that you're using earth colors, and you want to ensure that your facades. It's not about the building being seen effectively. It's about the building blending in to the landscape. And so the tone and texture of the roof and your walls and the kind of materials that you use, and how much terracing or benching or earthworks that you could actually undertake to ensure that you try to reduce that. All of these various steps were outlined as parts of the recommendation put into that Limits of Acceptable Change study. However, one of the major areas that still is needs to be addressed within the PTORS management area is the matter of property ownership. And national parks do not necessarily have to have 100% ownership by the state, but we do know that in instances where you do have private ownership within a national park, there would tend to be some understanding from the owners that they are part of this park, and at the same time they're providing a conservation service being part of the park, but there be some sort of benefit as well. Now, for instance, in the United States of America, they approach this through the use of what are known as conservation easements. And effectively, it's an agreement that the site will be maintained as a green space, as an open space. The vegetation will be kept. It will be kept as natural as possible. And what the benefit is then extended to the owner is some sort of tax incentive, whether it may be breaks on your property tax or your income tax, that is effectively quantified, the loss of the right to develop the site, or the agreement to maintain a site in a certain way, will come with some benefits. And that's one of the ways that countries use to allow for sites to still be privately owned, but at the same time, of course, there is benefit to the property owners. Otherwise, of course, the issues of outright acquisition by the state to protect areas, especially where you have no-build zones, that, of course, requires quite often a fairly a large amount of outlay for the state to then actually go out and acquire property. In the case of the PTORs themselves, and in particular with Gopitor, and the southern part of Gopitor, you will find that there's quite a lot of private ownership. And that, of course, as I mentioned, dates way back into the colonial era. And the issues there, of course, mean that quite often we hear this idea that is touted by individuals that people have the right of enjoyment of property. And I do think it is a bit of a controversial concept because, yes, there is no doubt that if one owns property, one should be able to enjoy that property. But the question is, what does enjoyment mean? Does enjoyment mean that you can build whatever you want? Does enjoyment mean that you can develop the site as a hotel, regardless of whatever environmental conditions exist within that site, whether it's the steepness of the site or the natural vegetation that's present there? Does it mean that that is lost? Or is enjoyment really a much broader sense that you can still enjoy a site, but maybe enjoy it in a certain state? And that's really where the big question is. Does enjoyment mean that any piece of property can be developed as a farm or for agriculture? Many questions exist when it comes to this matter as to what is really meant by enjoyment and the rights to enjoyment of property. And I think it is certainly a recurring issue when it comes to matters of development and when we're looking at what exists right now. Now, of course, this is also something that is sub judice because there is, there was in fact a case brought against one of the property owners against the Development Control Authority and the state on this very matter. And it is still an ongoing matter, which no doubt will hopefully get some resolution sooner rather than later. Because if we are saying that these are our iconic national landmarks, what has inspired human beings for many years to really love this island, and of course inspires hundreds of thousands of people to visit it on a regular basis. It's an inspiration for our national flag, our national maybe drinks and beverages and whatever the case may be. Certainly we do need to respect it and ensure that it is well protected. That's our dish of the day. When we come back, we'll be taking in some calls.
This has been The Daily Dish.
One tiles for your home, I see. Bathroom, kitchen, pantry. Need tiles for your balcony. Come down to Tiles Plus, satisfaction guarantee. Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus. Big tiles with unbeatable cost. Customer service, A+. With all kind of tiles, come down to Tiles Plus. We also got gasway and vanity. Books, doors, you'll see. Come down to my nobody. We got the best tiles on island. Trust me. We are located Lance Road in Castries, Bosses Brazil, and Slack Street in Beaufort. Telephone number 453-7939. Tiles Plus.
And welcome back to the Lunchroom here at Radio Caribbean International. Of course, the number to call in to tell us what's on your plate today. It is 4523046. Again, 4523046. As well as our WhatsApp number. It is 724-0008. Again, 724-0008. As mentioned yesterday, the Prime Minister is now part of a delegation which has headed across to Riyadh, the capital of Saudi Arabia, and there is an ongoing summit which is being held between leaders of the Caribbean community and the Saudi authorities. And of course, as I mentioned yesterday, Saudi Arabia is certainly becoming a significant world power and is certainly trying to continue their ongoing reach when it comes to its geopolitics at this point in time. And quite often, many countries around the world see the Caribbean as a potential opportunity to perhaps get value for money when it comes to their diplomatic efforts. And that, of course, is because although we have a relatively small population as things go, we in fact hold a significant voting bloc within the United Nations, and that often is seen as pretty important. Of course, with 15 independent countries, all of them having a say and a seat in the United Nations, that is quite often leveraged. Let's take a call at this time. Good afternoon and welcome to the Lunchroom. What's on your plate today?
All right, Mr. Calix George Jr., how are you?
Good, thank you, caller. How are you doing?
I'm all right, thanks.
Good,
And
good.
Your family?
Very good, thank you. Thanks for asking. And yours?
Yeah, okay. Mr. George, is there any way of verification that, say, for example, you buy a tank of gas, that you actually get in the weight, the amount, the pressure, the amount you're paying for?
Somebody asked that question, I believe, in respect of the pumps, fuel at the pumps. In the case of gas tanks, I believe
No, gas tanks, I'm referring to specifically to
the LPGs, right? The LPG tanks. I believe the St. Lucia Bureau of Standards is supposed to be doing checks on that.
a random check.
Yes, they're supposed to be doing spot checks on that. So,
Spot check.
well, random checks.
So we rely on them basically to do that for us, but the consumer doesn't have any means of, individually you cannot do that for yourself.
Well, I suppose if you knew
There's no mechanism in place.
there's no mechanism in place like at the point of sale right now. No,
Yeah, at the point of sale.
No.
Yeah.
no, there's no. As far as I know, there's nothing really in place to do so. I can assume that the consumer may want to do a very rudimentary check by maybe knowing what is the empty weight of it and then the full tank weight and making a determination there if they had a scale to check. That might be one way of doing it. But as far as I am aware, no, there's no way that the consumer themselves would be able to do so.
Okay. All right. You could check that out to really understand
Okay.
fully what's going on there.
But is it that people are raising a concern regarding whether they're getting
At the pumps too also.
and at the pumps? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's legitimate, I find.
Right.
Are you aware of the draft air policy?
Yes. I saw it circulating.
So what do you think?
Well,
You haven't read it?
I've read it. I read it. I went through it very cursorily, but it seemed to be, in my view, fairly progressive in the direction that it's going.
Yes.
I am sure maybe some people may think that it's too liberal, but I think it is.
Well,
In my opinion, I think
you'll find both sides of the fence. It's Some
Yeah.
people will think it's too liberal. Some people think it's not going far enough. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
So, I mean, you get that. But, like, I you know, as you said, by and large, it seeks to make some inroads and ground into that particular, issue. And I want to thank at least it was some time coming now, but at least they delivered.
Mm-hmm.
Honorable Sean Edwards for keeping up his promise, because sometimes these things just disappear into oblivion. You don't know what happened to them, and you just never hear of them anymore.
Right.
And,
I mean, we can share just for the benefit of.
And they deliver something. And
Sorry, go ahead, caller.
yeah?
We go ahead, please.
Something of interest that way I find was all right. The cultural 3 the guidelines.
3.5 cultural and religious
3.5.
considerations. The school.
Cultural and religious considerations.
Right.
The school will be sensitive to cultural and religious considerations regarding hairstyles. Subject to verification by parents, students with cultural or religious reasons for keeping their hair long will be accommodated without any hesitation. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I find that, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay, As far as minority groups, so to speak, like Rastafari and, and so on, because you have different sections of the Rasta, the Bobo dreads, who don't expose their hair, but they have their hair pieces.
Right.
You know these there? You're aware of that?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, right. They don't expose their locks,
Mm-hmm.
but the other question is that would they be allowed to come with the headpiece and so on and so forth? So it's some progress, and I want to thank the gentleman and his team for delivering on that. One further thing. How has the CARICOM as a unit or any individual
Country, a
CARICOM
member?
country
Yeah.
made any statement concerning what's going on in Gaza there? No?
Yes, CARICOM has made a statement. In fact, I think there was one that came out just yesterday. That was, I think, the second statement that they made on the issue. And I think in the case of Belize, they in particular actually they withdrew their honorary consul to Israel.
Okay.
So they have in fact taken some diplomatic action, so to speak, in
I
the
guess
matter.
that represents all its member states, okay, of CARICOM.
Well, the CARICOM statement would have represented, I would have thought, yes, the position of CARICOM.
I didn't hear anything, so, and I know you're more in tune with that sort of thing.
Yes, in fact, there was an early statement regarding the call for a ceasefire, and I think they made another statement, which I will try to get for you, and I'll read it out in a little while, on what they just recently stated regarding the Israel invasion of Gaza. So there have in fact been some statements on the situation. In fact, I think there was one from the 12th of, it wasn't yesterday, it was the 12th of November.
But this thing going on that taking place in Gaza live and in front of our faces on our television every day and we see in this thing. I mean, this thing's supposed to humble us, Mr. George. Because I find we spend so much time, arguing and quarreling over. When you compare the issues we take to find so important in our lives, and we bicker and hanker and canker and make enemies over and complain and pine and whine over
Right.
day after day after day. You know what I'm saying? which one of us would want to go to bed and wake up in Gaza? Eh?
Definitely, I don't think anybody around the world would want to do that at this point.
Man, and then look and see where, then go down on your knees and say, thank you, Father, at least whatever we going through, whatever I going through, whatever we going through, you know. You check what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, because no water, no electricity, no food, helpless babies, children, families that decimated. You know,
and you know, caller, the other thing about it.
Whole lives just being stripped away before their very eyes.
Yeah.
You know? Eh?
And what I was about to say as well is that, although I'm not saying it's across the board in terms of how it is being described, but the description of it is the Israel-Hamas war. That's how it's being termed. As if the Palestinian people...
To go into that kind of, dialectic, that kind of...
Yeah, but it's as if the Palestinian people in the main are not the ones who are suffering, and they, in fact, are the ones who are getting the brunt of it right now.
You see, like a particular, I think Yanis something, a former Greek Minister of Finance, was saying that it's like the European countries, the West, to atone for the Holocaust, because by and large they were responsible for it, you know.
That's correct, yes.
You understand?
Yes.
No people from Gaza or any such thing.
Mm-hmm.
But they were responsible. Those who didn't do it directly were aiders and abettors.
Mm-hmm.
You over?
Yes.
And it's like they allowing Israel to atone for that as if they get satisfaction, like, but, you know, they just don't know how many lives must be lost, how many destruction must Israel do to atone for the Holocaust. So in other words, the Europeans responsible for both the Holocaust of the Jews and Gaza at present.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So ever which way they choose, they cannot be the winners, you know. They cannot be the winners in what has gone on in the past and what is going on now. And they don't want to submit. They absolutely don't.
It was an attempt at reparation, and a reparation at the expense of people who were living right there in the state of in Palestine at the time, and that was clearly as if they didn't exist, as if they didn't matter, and that I think is really the problem with this type of issue. Yes, you know all that happened in.
Let me tell you, military, you could go high, you could argue, you could reason, you could say what you want. At the end of the day, it's military. That's ruling.
Mm-hmm.
If you're strong, you're strong. You do what you want. You drop bombs and things. Because what's new about that going on in terms of when you compare it to the attacks on Ethiopia, you know, in the 30s by Mussolini and his forces. The attacks on the bombing of what you call it, of even England by the Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the bombing of for years in North Korea, not North Korea, not in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
Eh?
Yes.
It just goes on. And look, recently in Iraq and Afghanistan, the Russians had their share of bombing, destruction, and that's what it is. That's what it is, and that, it's just like the song says by my brethren who wrote it, Jati. It's a world of Rambo diplomacy. You know, it's stronger. When you feel you're strong enough, you could rule on anybody who's not stronger than you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Anyway, thanks for your time.
Thanks very much for sharing, of course, caller. Much appreciated. And we're actually due for our weather report, so we're going to head across to take this in right away. Of course, it is made possible through the work of the St. Lucia Met Service.
Make your home merry and bright with Island Style's massive Christmas sale. Our wide range of porcelain and ceramic tiles are on sale up to 50% off. And that's not all. Save up to 15% off. Bathrooms with bundle and save. The more you buy, the more you save. On gorgeous bathroom vanities, bathtubs, faucets, shower glass, toilets, and more. Plus, contractors and tilers are in for a treat with our special discounts on tiling tools and accessories. Sale on now at all locations: Castries, Rodney Bay, and Viewfort. Or call 450-452 or 453 Tile. It's time to deck the halls, deck the walls, or even deck the deck with huge Christmas savings only at Island Style.
This is Radio Caribbean International. It's now time for the weather news.
101.1 and 99.1 FM. It's now time for a weather report as autumn today, presented by Island Style Talent Bath. The forecast for St. Lucia Valley for the next 24 hours. The winds will be blowing from the east near 21 miles per hour or 33 kilometers per hour with occasional gusts. The weather partly cloudy to cloudy and hazy skies with some scattered to light moderate showers and a chance of isolated thunderstorms. There is an advisory here which reads that small craft operators and sea beavers are advised to exercise caution due to above normal seas. And the forecast for the Lesser Antilles. Over the Windward Islands and areas for the south, generally cloudy and hazy skies with scattered to moderate to heavy showers and a chance of isolated thunderstorms. Elsewhere, fair to partly cloudy and hazy skies with a few showers. And the tropical weather outlook: a weak surface trough will continue to cause an increase in cloudiness and showers and scattered showers and possibly isolated thunderstorms mainly over the southern half of the Lesser Antilles during the forecast period. The Atlantic high pressure system will continue to generate moderate to brisk easterly winds and above normal seas across the Lesser Antilles during the next 24 hours. A plume of Saharan dust will cause a reduction in visibility and air quality over the Eastern Caribbean region during the next few days. And this was the weather report as of 12 noon today, presented by Island Style Talent Bath.
This has been RCI's Weather News. For more information, call the Weather Hotline at 454-3452. RCI 101 number 1.
Make your home merry and bright with Island Style's massive Christmas sale. Our wide range of porcelain and ceramic tiles are on sale up to 50% off. And that's not all. Save up to 15% off. Bathrooms with bundle and save. The more you buy, the more you save. On gorgeous bathroom vanities, bathtubs, faucets, shower glass, toilets, and more. Plus, contractors and tilers are in for a treat with our special discounts on tiling tools and accessories. Sale on now at all locations: Castries, Rodney Bay, and Viewfort. Or call 450-452 or 453 Tile. It's time to deck the halls, deck the walls, or even deck the deck with huge Christmas savings only at Island Style.
And welcome back to our program here at Radio Caribbean International. Of course, the number to call in to tell us what's on your plate today, this Thursday, it is 452-3046. Again, 452-3046. As well as our WhatsApp number, it is 724-0008. And just to share that CARICOM statement on the situation in Gaza, it reads as follows. The Caribbean community, or CARICOM, aware of the catastrophic humanitarian crisis in Gaza that continues to worsen, expresses horror and concern at the mounting death toll on the civilian population, including women and children, particularly in Gaza, but also in other areas of the occupied Palestinian territory. It calls on all states to respect and ensure respect for international humanitarian law in all circumstances in accordance with Article 1 of the Geneva Conventions of 12 August 1949, condemns any disregard for international humanitarian law, human rights, and the laws of war that have resulted in the widespread destruction of civilian infrastructure in Gaza and deprivation of access to basic necessities, including medical care for the people of Palestine, reaffirms its conviction that a lasting two-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict can be achieved only by peaceful means based on the relevant United Nations resolutions and in accordance with international law. Further calls for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the immediate release of all hostages, and for their humane treatment at all times in compliance with international law. All parties to immediately and fully comply with their obligations under international law, including international humanitarian law and international human rights law, and the immediate, safe, unimpeded access for adequate, sustained humanitarian support throughout Gaza, including food, water, medicines, medical care, fuel, and electricity. And that statement was issued by the Caribbean community on November the 12th. And of course, we are seeing the continued issue of that ground offensive, which is ongoing in the northern part of of Gaza. And thus far, since this conflict has started, Israel has lost 1,286 souls. 7,266 persons were injured in Israel. 239 individuals have been captured or abducted, and 28 are still considered missing. In Gaza, since this conflict has begun, there have been 11,250 lives lost, 28,200 persons wounded, and over 3,250 persons missing. And inside Israel as well, there were losses of Palestinians, of course, with the attack that occurred back in the beginning of October, and at the anniversary of the Yom Kippur War. Over 1,000 of those individuals, Hamas fighters, killed, and about 200 captured. Also in the West Bank, which of course was referenced in that CARICOM community missive, 204 individuals have been killed, with over 2,468 wounded. And there are an estimated 1.5 million Palestinians displaced within Gaza. They're no longer living in their homes. They've had to evacuate. They are quite likely in very crowded situations in already a very crowded state or territory within Gaza, in the south of Gaza, in cities like Khan Yunis and others. And it has also led to, this warfare has also led to the evacuation of individuals within the area which has been cordoned off by the Israeli government around Gaza. There's been a significant number of individuals who have been relocated. It's about 200,000. That is the estimate there in neighboring settlements and kibbutz around the countryside of Israel bordering Gaza. So the situation is certainly not a very good one, and the question is, at what point is there going to be some letup to allow for what is becoming a very severe humanitarian situation, which can then lead to lots of other issues, whether it is disease or sickness and many other issues, potential issues of starvation. There are a lot of things that, in fact, cause for the loss of life, not necessarily a bullet or a bomb explosion. The other hardships of war are likely to be setting in this current conflict, and it is certainly not a very good situation that, of course, nobody wants to be in right about now. the issue of the two-state solution is still one which we will have to see how that can really be panned out. And in particular, one could say that there was a time when Gaza, a very small area, relatively speaking, they don't really have, it's pretty much a homogeneous situation over there, albeit they also don't have rights to their marine space. But even with respect to the situation in the West Bank, or West Jordan land area, that area, which had been identified for quite some time as since 1948 as part of what would have been a Palestinian state, and of course with the shared use of Jerusalem as a shared capital for both Israel and Palestine, that has of course not really been seen. We've seen considerable incursion in the case of Israel. Originally, East Jerusalem, which is really the traditional heart of Jerusalem, the old city, and where you would find pretty much a lot of these very important sites of importance for the three major monotheistic religions of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Sites like Temple Mount and the West Wall and the Church of the Holy Sepulchre and many other of these sites which people head for pilgrimage to, was in fact supposed to have been part of Palestine, part of the Palestinian state. But of course, for many decades now, Israel effectively controls East Jerusalem and has been controlling a considerable amount of territory within the West Bank. The West Bank situation has been relatively less corrosive or caustic, and part of it has been that there's been a more moderate leaning in these areas, but certainly the situation there has not been very pleasant. Significant construction of walls and barriers and checkpoints and more settlement developing by Israelis in those areas, and in an area certainly that is considered by traditional Jews as heartland region, Judea, the hill country, where they see that this has been a historical right of ownership over that region of Samaria and Judea, and that of course is part of this big challenge in dealing with this matter right now. We've seen around the world quite often attempts at solving problems by division and creating separate states. So we saw that in the case of India, and we saw the creation of an Indian state, largely Hindu, and then a separate state for Muslims. First, in the case of East Bengal and Pakistan, eventually the Bengali part, the Muslim part, becoming Bangladesh. And we've seen over time a number of other instances where you have divisions in a country. In the case of Sudan, for instance, after a considerable amount of warfare, we've seen the creation of South Sudan, which is ethnically different from the northern, more Arab-influenced Sudan, as well as culturally and religiously a north-south divide against Muslim and Christian. In the Balkan region as well, we've seen countries, especially in the breakup of the former Yugoslavia, we've seen regions pretty much being divided by religion. And so you've had Serbia, which is more of Orthodox Christian, and then Croatia, which is more of a Catholic Christian. And then in the mix, you've had regions like Bosnia and Herzegovina, which is predominantly Muslim, but it's a mix of Muslim and Orthodox Christian. And so that battle over these spaces, as well as Kosovo, causing lots of divisions over these periods. And what has tended to happen is the division of these spaces, and then quite often migration from one side to the other, where persons will gravitate more towards where they can then culturally identify themselves. But there are a number of other places in the world where we're seeing lots of conflicts on the basis of ethnic, religious, and cultural differences. Turkey, for instance, the former Ottoman Empire, which was largely secular, but we're now seeing a rising interest by Turkey towards a more Islamic tinge to their politics. And of course, we've seen the issues that they've also been facing with a number of Kurdish groups, in particular in the south and southeastern regions of Turkey. The desire of the Kurds to have their own state, and they find themselves crossing over at least three distinct sovereign spaces right about now: Turkey, Iraq, as well as Syria. But of course, not having their own state and being suppressed by many of these countries, as the case may be. And again, further warfare in the Caucasus, Armenia and Azerbaijan, and of course, Russia has had a fair share of these issues over the years when they were trying to maintain the Soviet Union. And still, up to today, you're still finding regions in near the Caucasus where you do have states which are still trying to fight for their own independence. What makes the situation in Israel-Palestine specifically difficult is that we're speaking about a very small space, relatively speaking, with fairly large densities, fairly large populations as of now, and still effectively a state which is citizenship of which can be claimed based on your religion. And it's one of, I think, the few places in the world where you can actually do this. But it is what exists in the case of the state of Israel. Now, even within Israel, we were talking about the fact that you do have Palestinians still living in Israel and who are part of the Israeli population. But the other side of it, of course, is that you have many people who are somewhat stateless or who find themselves in these Palestinian territories, and they don't have the same rights, they don't have the same ability to travel and move about. They find themselves in very difficult circumstances in this regard. And so that is certainly why some people have certainly labeled and have accused Israel of a practice of modern-day apartheid. And this issue is going to continue to be very difficult if Israel continues to think that they are fully within their rights to effectively set laws that are that set one set of people and treat them differently than the other. And so this is really the challenge of the two-state solution at this point in time. It may have seemed to have been a potentially reasonable solution to dealing with such issues before, but as it is now, with a case where, especially in the West Bank, where you have clearly a lot of hardened Israeli settlements and a fragmented Palestinian population and Palestinian lands, it certainly is a very, very difficult sell, in my opinion, at this point in time, to be thinking about this space as somehow being separate and apart. And so the big question is, can there be a state of Israel-Palestine? Can there be a unified state in which Palestinians as well, or people, whether they are Arab or Christian or Jew, or Jewish, can find themselves having the same rights and having the same level of rights to be able to be in parliament and to participate in their lives in a country. And so that is, I think, in my view, the big task at hand at this point in time. It's going to be very difficult to achieve that, of course, because as of now, Israel in and of itself can still be so fractured politically that it would be so difficult for such a thought to be able to come forward. And let's also remember that you have individuals who have been coming from many different parts of the world and having their own experiences as well, experiences of oppression, coming from the Soviet Union, coming from other Arab countries where they were oppressed as well, and see this land as a land of hope and as a land of their forefathers and as a land that they would be willing to fight for. And that is really part of this major challenge afoot right now in terms of creating that bridge and being able to actually take down those barriers and those walls. But that is our program for today here at the Lunchroom. Back again tomorrow for another one, and we do hope that you can join us for that. I am your host, Calix George Jr.
Tiles for your home, I see. Bathroom, kitchen, pantry. Need tiles for your balcony. Come down to Tiles Plus, satisfaction guarantee. Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus. Big tiles with unbeatable cost. Customer service, A+. With all kind of tiles, come down to Tiles Plus. We also got glassware and vanity. Books, doors, you'll see. Come down to my nobody. We got the best as an island. Trust me. We are located Land Street in Castries, Bosses, Jugosile, and Slack Street in Beaufort. Telephone number 453-7939.
101 number 1 FM.
Stand up in the powers of the Most High. Georgia, Georgia. Stand up in the powers of the Most High. Stand up straight. say we bend down low. They thought that's how it go. So a lot of them don't touch them toe. Never knew that it was a trick. Babylon was plotting to it. Babylon start lash them with big stick. Them jump up quick. But through the powers of the Most High Jah, I and I will get over. Chant no more blood-sucking vampire. And stand up straight. Ethiopians, help I chant on Babylon gate. Stand up straight now. Ethiopians, help I chant on Babylon gate. All the people talk Babylon won't cooperate. All them do is just lead the children astray. Instigating war and fighting, criticizing without realizing the whole wide world is in a mess. Lord of mercy, the whole wide world is in a mess. What a stress! Stand up straight, Ethiopians, help I chant on Babylon gate. Stand up straight now, Ethiopians, help I chant on Babylon gate now. Babylon to realize this soon. You better stop send man go a moon. This whole world is gonna be a doom. Nothing else but a concrete tomb. If you don't change up your evilest ways, you hear me? Jah the Almighty will shorten up your days. Come along now and stand up straight. Ethiopians, help I chant on Babylon gate. Stand up straight now. Ethiopians, help I chant on Babylon gate. Stand up straight. Ethiopians, help I chant on Babylon gates now. Stand up straight now.
I've got my life invested in you right now. Can't turn my back on all the things we share. Everything has its value, everything has its price. All my assets I'm cashing just for you. 'Cause I'm committed to keeping this love alive. I'm committed, staying in love with you. 'Cause I'm committed, baby, to keeping this love alive. I'm committed, staying in love with you. We may be together or we might be apart. There's no one who could ever take your place. You gave understanding, I'll be damned if I do. Take this love and throw it all away. 'Cause I'm committed, baby, keeping this love alive. I'm committed, staying in love with you. 'Cause I'm committed, baby, keeping this love alive. I'm committed, staying in love with you.
Live on. Chip, pip, 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 pong, pip, then come for me, no one jump, pop, man, me have it, come back again. I'm missing the one job of the rhythm, that is no problem. Me want one lover, I'm a one girlfriend. Me no want 9, 10, me no want 20. Me only want one lover, to love her badly. And when you want committed, judge, I know it's diary. So me see the one job of the rhythm, and me shake out, say, come on.
Oh baby, keeping this love alive. I'm committed, staying in love with you. 'Cause I'm committed, oh baby, keeping this love alive. That's right. I'm committed, staying in love with you. Girl, I'll be there for you.
101.1 FM.
Plug into Disney Plus with a Digicel Plus home fiber internet package. Yes, Disney Plus is now included in your package for as low as $129 per month. More entertainment, more speed. Watch the best of Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, Disney, and National Geographic all in one place, whenever you want. That's right, there's even more for you and your family to enjoy. On top of everything else with St. Lucia's fastest home fiber internet with speed starting at 250 megabytes all the way up to 1 gigabyte. Unlock more speed and entertainment with us. Visit us in store or call 106 to switch to Digicel Plus home fiber today. More speed, more reliability, more entertainment. Digicel Plus.
RCI.
Interference, non-political. No matter what you do, I see I'm blind and hear and deaf. I'm an humble African. Passing through Babylon, I'm an humble African. Trouble no one, say I'm an humble African. Some said I'm a Rasta man, I'm an humble African. These little hands and simple fingers that I have, they were not made to pinch nor tear, you hear, but to move in deeds of kindness, you see, and to fall in thoughts of prayer to help my brother pray for the betterment of his life, yeah. Oh yeah. It's better to have a friend than to need one. It's better to find a friend than to be in need. Lift up your brother, don't you put him down. One and wash the other. Both go and rock it home. I'm a humble African. I was born to love my brother. I'm an humble African. United I must be. I'm an humble African. No matter what they say, I'm an humble African. My forefather came here from the days of slavery. I work until my skin starts to strip. And to every time I speak for my justice, yes, someone always to name me disagreeable still. I pray the day will come when we all have peace and unity. No more chasing one another without humanity. I pray the day will come that we all share what we have and show the people of the love that we have to give. Let them know I'm an humble African. Nothing but unity inside, I'm an humble African. Just stand for us all, the humble African. Let me beat my drum in a Babylon and a humble African. Yeah, you know who I am. A humble African. Come on, let's talk about John. rain. Down in Jamaica where Garvey come from. Earth's greatest prophet was born in Straight Town in St. Andre. And he was going about prophesying equal rights and justice to the nation. I know. And they took him away and told us all, oh, yes, it's all right. And I weep not, oh Jah, for I know that one man can't bury 3 times. They're trying to fool black people. Yeah, 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 black people now. They took him away from black man, all because they feel that we were too wise. But what was hidden from the wise and prudent now revealed to the babes and suckling too. Officially, let's talk. Come talk about down, down, down in Jamaica where Garvey come from. Oh yeah, harmonize it. Down, down, down in Jamaica where Garvey come from. Such a good man. Oh, anything good never served too long. Down, down,
What about the act that never been told? Some of them have lost them soul, and yet some of them still grow cold. Say so.
come on. Let's talk about down, down, down in Jamaica where Garvey come from.
Say so. You know, come me say one for the money, me say 2 for the show. Brought we to get ready, me say 4 to go. But me nah leave the area. To let me tell you, till me nah leave the area. Well, what your man me tell her, nothing in me pocket, me nah bring for you. Nothing in me pocket, me nah bring for you. You to the love in me heart, it's a boogeroo, 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 boogeroo. It up, turn up and foot. I tell you about a Marcus Garvey. I tell you about a William Garvey. I tell you about a Marcus Garvey. Well, what your man say? Me say 1 for the money, me say 2 for the show. Brought we to get ready, me say 4 to go. But me nah read the area. I saw me say, me nah read the area. Well, what your man can me say? Nothing in my pocket, me nah bring for you. Nothing in my pocket, me nah bring for you. You see the ruby on me heart, it's a boogeroo, 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 brrrroo, boogeroo. Yeah, you know what I really, really say. I saw me say me can't stand the pressure in a Babylon, man. Me can't stand the pressure in a Babylon. Babylon a go on like them make out iron. Me say that you saw me some music, man. I tell you say that you saw me come from, man. Mama say that you saw me come from. Well, what your man me say me nah leave the area. I tell you Jada happy birthday, pa. Mama say me nah leave the area. Say so.
They took him away from black man, all because they feel that we were too wise.
Yeah, tell you saw me some music, man. Rad me tell that no whenever sweet like the
say the top piece of the action. And let me tell you, say that you saw me come from. Me say that you saw me come from. I tell you about the one Paul Boga. Me tell you about a William Gardner. Me tell you about a Marcus Garvey. Well, what your man me say that you saw me come from. I am me come from. I saw me come from. Me there from we used to beat old pan. Brrr, Paul Bangarang. Me say that you saw me come from. Say so. Now Marcus Garvey. Me say.
A slice of Mount Zion is for I. A slice of Mount Zion is for I. I pray to Jah earnestly to please let me live honestly. Love my brother, that's all I need. I need no riches, just harmony. A slice of Mount Zion is for I. A slice of Mount Zion is for I. I'm willing just to lay down at Zion doorway like a footmat. Even the saints of Zion tread upon my back and enter in. But a slice of Mount Zion is for I. A slice of Mount Zion is for I. I pray every day to see the falling of the wicked man. I know that wickedness will prevail, but only for a little while. And a slice of Mount Zion is for I. A slice of Mount Zion is for I. Cannot go to Zion with your force. Have manners and enter in a house. You cannot live here with your big gun. All you got to do is help me pray. Let's kneel on our knees and clasp our hand and say, Father, please help me. A slice of Mount Zion is for I. A slice of Mount Zion is for I. Children having children, poverty upon the door. I've seen white squall walking on the street with man under arrest. Hey, a slice of Mount Zion is for I. Satan is around us like a roaring lion, seeking their children to devour all the days of our life. Like a hungry eagle flying to the sky, seeking for man's soul to devour. But don't let him catch us. A slice of Mount Zion is for I. Hear me when I say, a slice of Mount Zion is for I. Hear me when I pray. Give me strength, oh Jah, I pray. With thy manna from Zion, no one can give satisfaction but thee alone. Sit upon thy throne and pardon our transgression and show what we did to thy children in the morning time. For a slice of Mount Zion is for I. A little piece. A slice of Mount Zion is for I. Take it from me. A slice of Mount Zion is for I. Even a little crumbs. A slice of Mount Zion is for I. I beg you, it's Father. A slice of Mount Zion is for I. A slice of Mount Zion is for. A slice of Mount Zion belong to. A slice of Mount Zion is for I.
I will survive without you. pushover. Left me for dead and think I'm gonna kill over. Oh no, not I. I and I will survive. Never let them get you down. Never let them see you frown. Never let them take away your liberty. Live your life and be free. Never let them get you down. Never let them see you frown. Never let them lead you astray. Starting today, live your life and live it your way. When you go through heartache, when you're feeling pain, when you end up in a desert and I wonder why the hell it not rain. When them pass them judgments and every word left a stain. When them talk up the things them just to mash up your life and give you bad name. Them think you're weak but I never them blunder. Bad mind I think them left your business asunder. Don't give them that power. Show them you can be stronger. Just take up yourself and make the whole of them wonder how you get up when them a try keep you under. Don't believe their lies. Show them that you will rise. Never let them get you down. Never let them see you frown. Never let them take away your liberty. Live your life and be free. Never let them get you down. Never let them see you frown. Never let them lead you astray. Starting today, live your life your way. I say, people talk, that's what they do, but they don't understand. Oh, me still I push and go through. Yes, they laugh, some call me name, but they just don't get it. Oh, them see me, I hold my head up just the same. Some of them see me as a big pushover. Left me for dead and think I'm gonna kill over. Oh no, not I. I and I will survive. Never let them get you down. Never let them see you frown. Never let them take away your liberty. Live your life and be free. Never let them get you down. Never let them see you frown. Never let them take away your liberty. Live your life and be free. Get you down. Oh no, 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 no. Don't let them get you down. No, 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 no. I got my pride. I got my pride. I'm standing firm. I'm standing firm. Stronger. They can't do me like that. What? Yeah. La da 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 da. I see them coming after my soul, wanting to take control. Wanna give me laughs, wanna give me bling, wanna give me all the material things. I hear them talking about what the world has to offer. Girl, what you doing? Don't you see what they have done to Bedouin and Marcus, Jesus and all of the prophets? But I'm not afraid. No, no, I'm not afraid. No, I'm not afraid. No, if them a come, let them come, 'cause I'm protected by the Most High One. They don't mind when you fall behind and can't pay your bills on time. Prostituting and standing in a them government line. No, and they don't mind when you waste your time coming up with some stupid lines, influencing the youth them for snort a line and take a life. And they don't mind when you're locked up in jail, can't get no bail, sentence for life. I can't see your youth them strive. No, they don't mind. But I'm not afraid. No, no, I'm not afraid. No, I'm not afraid. No, if them a come, let them come, 'cause I'm protected by the Most High One. Yeah. Don't be foolish. coming after my soul, wanting to take control. Wanna give me laughs, wanna give me bling, wanna give me all the material things. I hear them talking about what the world has to offer. Girl, what you doing, don't you see what they have done to Bedouin and Marcus, Jesus and all of the prophets? But I'm not afraid, no, no, I'm not afraid, no, I'm not afraid, no. If them a come, let them come, 'cause I'm protected by the Most High One. They don't mind when you fall behind and can't pay your bills on time. Prostituting and standing in a them government line. No, and they don't mind when you waste your time coming up with some stupid lines, influencing the youth them to snatch a line and take a life. And they don't mind when you're locked up in jail, can't get no bail, sentence for life. I can't see your youth them strive. No, they don't mind. But I'm not afraid, no, no, I'm not afraid, no, I'm not afraid, no. If them a come, let them come, 'cause I'm protected by the Most High One.
This is how and where we're going to wrap up our Digicel half hour for this afternoon. Don't forget, you can log on to the Digicel's sites, all of their social handles. They are very active on there, and stay abreast with everything Digicel and more. Tell you what, we take a break and then we come right back. Stay with us.
Plug into Disney Plus with a Digicel Plus home fiber internet package. Yes, Disney Plus is now included in your package for as low as $129 per month. More entertainment, more speed. Watch the best of Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, Disney, and National Geographic all in one place, whenever you want. That's right, there's even more for you and your family to enjoy. On top of everything else with St. Lucia's fastest home fiber internet with speed starting at 250 megabytes all the way up to 1 gigabyte. Unlock more speed and entertainment with us. Visit us in store or call 106 to switch to Digicel Plus home fiber today. More speed, more reliability, more entertainment. Digicel Plus.
If you recently submitted a claim to the National Insurance Corporation, you also need to submit your financial account information to get paid. All NIC benefit claims are now paid conveniently through your local financial